you gonna do?
I think it's something.
Newt, you never met a monster you couldn't love.
Let's take him.
Hello and welcome to the Explosion Network spoiler cast review discussion of the wonderful Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. I'm Dylan Blight. Joining me is Ashley Hobley.
Hey.
So this is, of course, the sequel to Fantastic Beasts, I guess, the wonderful Wizarding World, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first film didn't have the thing that this one did, where it comes up the Wizarding World logo. That's the
intro?
first one.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't recall seeing that before. I've seen that on books and stuff at this point, but I don't recall seeing that on an actual...
like an intro logo.
Yeah, like part of it's like it was kind of like seeing the Marvel logo or something pop up. I suppose it was kind of like, this is our Marvel logo. It's the Wizarding World logo, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I guess it's a thing.
I guess
it exists.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah, I suppose in case you didn't know. So this is going to be a full spoiler cast. Watch out for spoilers if you're not aware. We're going to be talking all things spoilery. There's no going to be non-spoiler discussion. If you want to hear our non-spoiler thoughts, you should go listen to What Do You Want to Watch, our movie and TV podcast, which you can find on all podcasting services, and you can hear our non-spoiler thoughts on there when that episode is out. What episode will that be, Ash? On the spot, what episode number is that going to be? Dun, 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 dun.
20?
20. Yeah, I think that's right, actually. That sounds about right. So episode 20. This film, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, was directed by David Yates, once again, who's done the last X amount of Harry Potter films and obviously did the first
everything since Order of the Phoenix, I think.
It's somewhere around there. It was written by J.K. Rowling herself, with just herself script, which she did the first one as well. So there you go. Jumping into overall thoughts before we jump into some more nitpicky points and jump into discussing the overall characters a little bit. I'm just going to say that I personally walked out of the cinema. I was like, I think I like that. Like, I was in doing that whole thing where you're like, I don't really know how I feel. And so, someone asked me right as I'm leaving cinema, I would have just been like, I think I liked it. I think it was okay. I'm not really sure. And as the days progressed, my feelings on it got worse and worse and worse and worse until we're at the point now where we're recording this week. I think it's like a week since I've seen it at this point.
Like a week, yeah, almost.
Yeah, and it's not good. It is not good at all, really. It's my one saving grace, which we'll discuss a bit more when we get to him, is I did quite enjoy Jude Law's Dumbledore a lot more than I would have thought I would, because I remember when they announced he was going to be part of the film and all this stuff, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, young Dumbledore, really? Is that what we need? But it is what we need, because he was enjoyable. It was really, really enjoyable. But other than that, I thought the plot was nonsensical, absolute rubbish. A lot of it didn't make sense. Plot holes here, there. JK's even... like, she's changing stuff that she's written for Pottermore short stories when it comes to stuff like McGonagall, which is really weird because Pottermore was set up as a way for her to expand the universe, like canon-wise. It's kind of like if Star Wars, after the whole everything is canon now, like once Disney brought in all the books and TV shows and everything is going to be run by story team and everything's going to be coming out well, if they were just like, forget that. I know we said that, but forget that. And it's just, from the opening sequence, just didn't seem to be shot well, edited well, and I was just like, look at this dreary mess of just crap. It's to the point where I'm like, okay, David Yates came in at a point when the franchise was heading towards a darker territory, and he did really well. Like, I enjoy the majority of those last couple of Harry Potter films that he was in charge of, but I had the same feelings when he did Fantastic Beasts. It was just, I don't feel like you're the person to be doing these movies anymore. I just doesn't feel right. But yeah, so I'm sour. How are you feeling on it though, Ash?
So I enjoyed the first film. I thought it was really good. I watched it like the night before. I went and saw it. Yeah, this film is not good. It is like it's what we feared like a lot of Marvel movies will do, where it's setting up future films. So I thought this would have been great if this film was actually a pilot for a TV pilot, like first episode of a TV series, because then you'll get all the answers and they'll explore everything like in the next couple of weeks. They'll explain all the plot holes, they'll explain all the character motivations, that sort of thing. But no, we've got to wait like 2 years before we get
2 years.
Anything explained. Yeah.
And I know an argument that people will put out for that is that they'll be like, hey, look, the Harry Potter films were quite similar to that in that we often had these movies and these weights between each one. But here's the thing, and tell me if I'm wrong or if you disagree, of course. I feel like every Harry Potter film, even though, of course, it left it open-ended, there's still Voldemort to come, blah, 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 it was a self-contained story to a degree, and you felt like you watched a story happen and it went somewhere, and things of characters happened and resolved, and there was a villain each book or in each movie that was solved by the end of it, of course, with the dark arts teacher. And that's what kept those movies. You never felt like you got nothing out of it.
Part one. But that's the ending.
I guess, but that's like, that sets up whole, like there's so much happening in that first film, it's like setting up school, wizards, all this sort of stuff. Like what's going on is you can't really walk out of it going, fuck, nothing happened. Like, where this film, it does just feel like
it feels like a lot happened, but then sort of nothing
happened. Yeah. Try and tell me what happened in this film. Really?
Yeah.
Could it have not just been the first 20 minutes of another movie or something?
I don't know. Yeah.
And here's the other thing. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes or something along those lines. And for all how long it is and how much you think stuff is happening and how much you're watching stuff happening, it just feels like nothing. That's the thing. It's like you feel like you're watching a lot happening, but you're not. Like no character moments.
Character motivation.
Not really.
Well, every character is very two-dimensional. Like they're there for one purpose and one purpose only. They don't feel fleshed out at all.
Yeah. So let's dive in. So obviously if you're watching this and you're like these two, they didn't seem to enjoy the movie that much. I'm probably not going to enjoy this, or it's going to make me angry. Turn off, stop listening, whatever you want to do if it's going to annoy you, because straight up, not a fan.
Like it,
good, yeah, good for you. If you like it, good for you. I wish I liked it. I grew up with the books, and then the movies started coming out, and big Harry Potter fan. I'm going to go watch I've already got tickets to The Cursed Child. I'm going to go watch that in February. This movie doesn't ruin my taste for the wizarding world as a whole, but does just make me feel like this franchise is not great. Because the first film, I didn't love it. I liked it, but at the same time, I was like, that wasn't fantastic. That wasn't the big oomph of what I kind of wanted for another series of movies set in this world. And then I was kind of hoping this film would come along and, pick up pace a bit. But it just went down from, it was okay to it was bad. So we're heading downhill. And a lot of my problems with the first film continue to be a part of this film. And anyway, so we're gonna dive through a bunch of different the main characters and kind of discuss them solely, what we think about them, and then wrap it all up at the first. So let's start with the titular, I guess, to a degree, character of the film, Mr. Geralt Grindelwald himself, played by one.
Didn't commit any crimes.
Yeah, well, that's in this movie.
Not
Does
really.
he kill anyone? Don't we say? Oh yeah, at the start of the movie, he kills people.
I guess.
Yeah, at the start, and then after that, he's like just moping around most of the time. Yeah. So yeah, once played by Johnny Depp, returning, of course, from his very small moment as reveal at the end of the first film.
Should have seen problems coming at the end of that last film.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good because Colin Farrell was so good as that character.
Yes,
that's the other thing. He was really, really good. And then when they revealed Johnny Depp, it was like, fuck.
I mean, it makes sense that it was a different actor.
It made sense, but at the same time, it was like, oh, that's a bit annoying because Colin Farrell was really good as that character. And if they killed off his character, and you would have been like, you would have
put different prosthetics or something to change Colin Farrell's face.
But, yeah, this is the other thing that annoys me. I don't think he's very good in this movie. I think it's just Johnny Depp being Johnny Depp.
Has anything to do in this movie. He's what, like, got 3 prominent scenes.
Yeah, just that. And it honestly, I just don't think he's very good. It just looks like he was asleep in the corner and after passed out in the corner, probably, to be honest. It looks like he was passed out in the corner and someone's gone over, slapped his face, put his fucking eye thing in and gone, come do your scene. Yeah, put the contact in and come do your scene, Johnny. And he's walked on and just been like typical Johnny Depp kind of, I'm a bit of a weird character, which, I mean, the character suits him because it's supposed to be off-putting and he's the bad guy and his thing. But my main thing is, right, after all the news about and I can't separate this, so I do want to bring it up because it is something that I couldn't help but think about watching the movie, and if it wasn't affecting me to a degree, and I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about it, and the fact that they're just not going to watch the movie because they don't want to anymore. That is a simple fact of it. I still went and watched it after the whole Amber Heard thing, of course. But my thing is, I don't understand why they just didn't recast him, because out of all the characters in the whole movie, he would have been the easiest character to recast. Because they've already shown him change faces once. It was canon. It's a thing. He's already done it. So why couldn't they just have him do it again and just played it off like that? Everyone would have known why they changed actors, because everyone would have been like, yeah, okay. But everyone probably would have been like, that was a smart move. That's probably what you should have done. Because I know a lot of people are throwing JK under the bus for hooking up with him and stuff. So did any of that come into your mind when you was watching it, or you just...
No, it didn't really affect me. I put it out of my mind.
I know you're better at throwing that stuff.
I understand how it would be difficult for people, especially because he's meant to be like a charming character as well. He's meant to... That would like play on my mind as well, I think.
Well, I know it's affected as it would, and it makes more sense. I've seen more girls online saying they're not going to watch the movie anymore, that were huge Harry Potter fans and they're going to watch it. And it's like, well, yeah, I get that. I understand why it's like you kind of don't want to.
But on the other hand, he's the villain, so you're meant to hate him. So
I know they're trying to rub that. Well, he's the villain. You should hate him anyway. But it's like, it's fucking acting. You could have the nicest person ever play the villain. It's the, you know.
I mean, they should have had the nicest. They should have had Tom Hanks play him.
Sure, that would. What like a casting
guy! Like,
what a casting choice that would.
That would work. Yeah.
Talking about the character himself, though, it's that opening sequence where they, you know, his long hair and whatever, but then it's revealed not to be him and all this sort of stuff. That opening sequence, the way they started off, I was really enjoying it. They're in the carriage, they're about to take off. They take off into the rain. I'm like, this sequence is going to be fucking awesome.
Would have been nice if I could have seen everything.
Yeah, it's just rain and mucky and stuff. But that sequence could have been the Dark Knight Rises opening sequence of the Wizarding World universe. Yeah. It could have been. What it was, though, was I don't really understand what's happening mess, because I can't see, and it's like, it's just crap. Like, it was just, what is happening, really? Oh, it's raining heavy? I get that. Is it raining heavy so you can have such a poorly shot and edited sequence? Or... I don't really understand. And
I can't tell what's happening. Are you hiding in the CGI? Is that what you're happening?
Yeah, is that what we're doing? We're hiding the CGI behind this rain. And then character-wise, what a fucking mess of a character Grindelwald turns out to be. Because let me boil down everyone, in case you don't understand what his plan is. If you didn't understand at the end of the movie when he shows everyone the terrors that are coming from the Muggles and what they're going to do, he basically says, hey, I will stop Hitler by being the wizard Hitler. It's what he said. And then you got a picture like JK writing it. Look, Hitler fucking sucked. Yes. So what I'll do is I'll have a wizard Hitler who wants to take out all the Muggles. And it's like, you can tell she's trying to be smart about it, you know, like he's the wizard Hitler. He wants to take out all the Muggles, kind of like, you know, the Jews, and like you can see the.
I don't know if he ever says he wants to kill the Muggles.
He wants to enslave them and get rid of them to a degree. But you know what I mean? Like it just feels like she's trying to be really clever with the measure there.
You would be making that comparison if they hadn't have shown like World War II footage.
But that's the point. They show World War footage because he shows everyone in that auditorium or whatever at the end of the movie. He says, here is what the Muggles are going to do. They're going to do this atomic, like the bombs and whatever else, and this nasty stuff. World War II, this is all going to happen. So what you should do to stop real Hitler is you should all come join me, the wizard Hitler. It's such like that's what it boils down to.
You say specifically Hitler. I think the implication is they're going to keep warring forever. Is what
I guess, but I can't get out of my mind the
it's
way.
interesting in this world that it's like only like a decade or so after the First World War.
Yeah, I
where
think
we played a part somehow.
Yeah, well, that's a good question, I suppose. I think that's something they briefly kind of rub over in the first film as well, that it's like so shortly after the First World War, and that's kind of like why.
Yeah, because his brother's like a war hero. So.
Yeah, his brother. Yeah, so it's an interesting time period. I don't feel like they're doing enough interesting stuff with it, of them going, World War II will happen. Join me. We will enslave the Muggles. Master plan. Hitler sucks. I'm a better version of.
I mean, now everybody looks stupid because now they're going to try and stop him, and then World War II is going to happen.
Yeah, well, there you go. Just that whole scene, I was like, really? Is this our big motivation? Like, this is it? And also,
to be fair, he's playing to his own crowd.
I guess, but also, where's he getting this fucking footage from where he can tell the future so well?
Divination.
Divination's it. Very good at divination. Very, very, very good at divination. But overall, like, Grindelwald is a character that we heard about so much in, not so much in the movies, but a lot more in the books. Was a character talked about, and when they talk about Dumbledore's fight with Grindelwald, that was that's maybe I haven't watched the movies for quite some time. Briefly brushed over in the movies, if that, but I know like that's a
Well, they must have, because the same actors who played the same young actors who play young Dumbledore's Grindelwald in that scene are the same actors who were from Deathly Hallows.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, because I remember they briefly go over it, but I feel like in the book, from memory, it was a lot longer, like more in depth.
Because they were like long articles.
Yeah. So it's a big thing. We've had Grindelwald built up to be a character, and what I'm getting given in this movie is not what I would have thought Grindelwald was. And one of the big things about that, I think it does come down to his and Dumbledore's relationship, which they just tease all movie, and is another problem with nothing happens in this movie. They should have just dived into that in this movie instead of teasing it and leaving it for the third film. They should have just gone into the flashbacks or gone into more detail or had Dumbledore talk about something, because it's just tease. Yes, we know there's
I think they were being subtle or attempting to be subtle.
Well,
people know they have read the books, watched the movies. They know they've got some sort of history. They've read the stuff online about Dumbledore and Grindelwald being together. They've read the fanfic.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that's another thing. For all JK's, Dumbledore's gay, Dumbledore, all this sort of stuff that pissed so many people off and blah, blah, blah. And then Jude Law, before this film was coming out, was like, yes, you can definitely tell that Dumbledore's gay in this film. Look, when you had when they had that scene where Dumbledore's looking in the mirror and you can see like they're doing the pact or whatever, should have kissed or something. Just throwing it out there.
So that negates the blood pact.
It does it? Is that the rule?
I wasn't aware of the powerful magic, so
wasn't aware of the rules. But look, overall, I'm not a fan. And knowing that I've got X amount of films left with Johnny Depp's version of this character, it doesn't enthrall me, to be honest.
Do they? They still got time to recast him.
Fucking please do. Let's talk about the Scamander. So we got Newt, played by Eddie Redmayne, of course, returning, and then you've also got Theseus Scamander, played by Callum Turner. So I feel like Newt is very much pushed to the side in a film that was supposed to be his franchise. And you can tell that from the opening moment where Fantastic Beasts is this little tiny text next to the Crimes of Grindelwald part. So I feel like the Fantastic and the Beast part of the movie is definitely lost. I feel like the forced Beast moment feels very forced. And then I feel like Newt is kind of forced into this story that JK has decided to try and write about basically Dumbledore and Grindelwald, and she's continued to force Newt into it somehow when he doesn't feel right in it at all.
Part of the story is that he doesn't want to be a part of it.
I guess, but it just doesn't feel like the whole movie. It just doesn't feel like, and he doesn't have enough going on anyway. For the star or the main character, supposedly, what really happens in this movie for him?
It's odd that he's like, it feels like maybe he's a B plot.
If that,
there's just too many B plots.
Yeah, the whole movie's B plots.
Room to breathe.
Yeah, so he felt really odd, and then Did you enjoy Theseus though? What did you feel about his brother?
There wasn't much to him. I mean, there's like 2-3 scenes again. Like the ministry scene that was pretty good. I guess the first interaction of them. And then there's, I guess, the end scene, and then there's the one scene where they go into the French Ministry of Magic.
Yeah.
There's barely not enough of him to really get, but obviously they're building him up to be someone who's going to figure in the next couple of movies.
Do you like Eddie Redmayne's like his performance? Did you like him in the first movie, the way he's done with this character?
He was odd, but like a likable-ish odd.
Yeah. That's how I put it. He's supposed to be odd. He comes off odd. That is how he's obviously supposed to be. That's how he is. But he's not odd to the point that you're like, oh, you're just annoying me. I guess you know, he's fine. I found him a interesting, lovable guy. But here's the thing about this movie that annoys me so much. Do I want this Dumbledore versus Grindelwald movie? I kind of do. Do I wish Johnny Depp was not in it, but it was still Jude Law? Yes, I do. But that is a movie I'd like to see. That is a relationship I'd like to see explored. But I don't want Newt involved in that movie at all. What I want is to take Newt back and have him dealing with the mystical creatures and stuff. Because the little 10-minute scene we get with his assistant or whatever, that was really weird, where it was made out like she was, I don't know, like attracted to him or something is what
Clearly, that's what it was.
Like that was heavily implied, and that was a really weird...
Seeing these signals, but
yeah.
to him.
There was like a weird 10-minute scene of that, but that whole part where he's feeding the monster, the seaweed monster, or whatever you want to call it. The Gilpy, is that what it's called? Fake Harry Potter fan.
The water.
Yeah, the water dragon thing. Yeah, all that stuff and that short period of time that was inside down under his apartment or house or whatever you want to call it down there, where it was basically the inside of his suitcase down there from the first film. All that stuff was fucking great. Like, I was enjoying all of that, and I just wanted more of that, which was more of what we got in the first film.
Earth can you introduce baby nifflers to us and then
take
only
them away?
3 minutes? Bullshit.
Enough time for a pop vinyl is what it was.
Yeah. All we need is baby niffler short films.
Something. But it's just, so the film starts out feeling like the first film to agree. Because you get that stuff. He's down there. He's Fantastic Beasts, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then it just goes. And it's this completely different movie. But the start kind of feels like it's still the first film. But it really isn't Fantastic Beasts anymore.
No.
At all.
It's such tiny print.
Yeah. So it's...
They wrote themselves into a corner.
They really did.
They should have just called it The Crimes of Grindelwald. Do the James Bond thing. Everybody knows it's the same part of the same series.
They should have, honestly. But at the same time, would I have liked a Fantastic Beasts 2 that had nothing to do with any of this Grindelwald shit? And was just Newt off adventuring somewhere in fucking Scandinavia after dragons or something? Yes, that is a movie.
Finishing his book, you know, and just feeding animals for 2 hours.
That is the other thing. This whole franchise was born from Newt Scamander wrote the Fantastic Beasts book. It's mentioned in Harry Potter. They put it out as a solo book. You could look through it. It's got information. It's a school book that Harry and Ron and everyone reads at school. Yeah. The setup for the movie franchise was Newt Scamander. We're going to learn how he writes his book, basically. And now it is, you're going to learn how Dumbledore eventually fights Grindelwald in the epic battle that we've heard so much about. At which point these two things crossed over and got changed, I have no idea. But anyway, don't like it. I like of what we had of Newt in this film, but he just felt so wasted, so underused, so just not even a part.
His sole motivation was to find Tina.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
that was his motivation for the film. So
yeah. Let's talk about Dumbledore then, who, I originally thought was going to feel very forced in this film when they announced him and was going to say, I was just like, how's that fit in? And here's the thing, I kind of turned out to be right, because when they announced it, I was like, how does Dumbledore fit into a movie about Fantastic Beasts and this sort of stuff? And what my feeling was right and wrong, because he doesn't, But that's because this movie isn't a movie about fantastic beasts,
Yeah.
so he does now fit into the movie.
Because it's not that movie anymore.
Yeah, because it's not that movie anymore. So, and because it's not that movie anymore, he does suddenly fit into the movie because it's basically going to turn out to be a movie. I'll be surprised if Newt has fucking 10 minutes in the third film because it's basically transitioning into a Dumbledore and Grindelwald series at this point. So, just ditch fucking Newt, whatever. But what do you think of Jude Law's Dumbledore?
He was really good. I enjoyed him. It felt like Dumbledore. They're the same sort of mannerisms, that sort of thing. I don't know. There's some like character things that are a bit weird, like canon wise. Like I'm pretty sure he's meant to be like the Transfiguration teacher, but yet he's teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts.
That's one the people I've seen point out and is true. But unlike the McGonagall one, I'm willing to give it a waiver and say maybe he taught it. Maybe he taught it for a year or two, and he was basically always transfigured. You know, I feel like you can kind of twist
get away
it.
with that.
You can get away with it, yeah.
But
Unlike McGonagall, who shouldn't have been born, even then. But that's a whole thing.
Any McGonagall.
There's
a long history of McGonagalls working at Hogwarts.
Fuck off, please. I honestly feel his performance as Dumbledore, I'd relate it a lot to Obi-Wan Ewan McGregor because such different performances that still felt like the character they were playing a prequel version of. Very different performances that still felt like the character, but you really liked it at the same time, and you could see how it kind of ended up there. Because I've seen people put up pictures of, you know, how Dumbledore go from this to wearing these giant robes and stuff and whatever else. It's like, well, you know, it's like 80 years from now. No, the Harry Potter set in the 90s, so, you know, it's like 80 years from now or something like that. And I've obviously seen memes of Dumbledore comes out of the closet, so that was funny to a degree also. But
I mean, you get old, you just don't feel like putting on pants anymore.
Yeah, but it is those things, like you're saying, the subtle details, the way he would lean against a desk, the way he'd kind of, there was a lot of subtle stuff he did that
talks, I feel like the JK was writing it, but
it definitely like having JK write it does pay off, I feel, because
it sounds like Dumbledore.
It sounds like Dumbledore and like someone trying to write Dumbledore. And he honestly, I think when I left the cinema, and the reason I was having this struggle of, did I really like it? Did I not like it? And I think it was because I really just enjoyed the Dumbledore stuff so much. Like seeing him walk around and talk to
typically Dumbledore thing.
Well, just anything Dumbledore was good. All of his scenes were great. There's not one
specifically Albus Dumbledore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Specifically Albus Dumbledore. All of his scenes were great. Any of the ones, like when he was talking, all the stuff at the start where he's around with Newt and he's kind of being very playful about, oh, you don't want to do it? Okay, no worries. I'll get someone else to do it. You know, all that sort of stuff was cool. The fact that Dumbledore's standing on top of that building that I presume I'm supposed to know it's a famous building, but I probably don't even know, but it probably is. And, you know, he's standing up there just being all flashy, and then Newt's like, you know, good idea, just stand out in the middle of the open. He does all that sort of stuff. And then when he's talking to... what the fuck is her name? Where is it here?
Letitia Lestrange?
Yeah, Lestrange. Sorry, put it. Yeah. When he's talking to Lestrange as well, was a good scene as well. I felt like the flashback teacher stuff. You could feel like,
yeah.
So Jude Law, Dumbledore, I have nothing bad to say about it, apart from the fact that was the best part of the movie. But then that's such a negative because it feels like it shouldn't be the best part of this movie, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
like it's very odd. We'll talk a little bit more about Dumbledore's in a hot minute though. But let's talk about Tina, right?
Tina.
Let's talk about Tina and her role in this movie, which also feels very.
She just shows up. Yeah, she was a plot point.
So we end the last movie.
Distressed. That's what she was.
We end the last movie. She's not an aura. This movie 6 months later, she was an aura. And in this movie,
an aura at the end of the film.
Does it? Okay, I can't really. I didn't rewatch it to be honest. So,
yeah.
But if they said that at the end of the movie, sure. So she's an aura now. What do we see her do in this movie that's really cool? We see her blast a bunch of books at Newt's brother.
Yeah.
Other than that, I feel like what she does is she gets trapped by the whatever I can't remember the character's name, but the one that traps her who's trying to kill Credence and all that sort of stuff. Gets trapped by him. They get out. They're in the books. She doesn't really do much there either. Really, in this whole movie, she just seems like a plot device for Newt to have a reason to go there. Yeah.
Yep.
She has no character story herself. And I liked her in the first film as well. Like, I thought she was an interesting character. Someone who really, it's kind of like the cop movie where there's a bunch of corrupt cops or whatever, but she's the cop who's she's the good cop and loves the job and wants to actually be out there doing good and helping the world and that sort of thing. So she has that going for her, but in this movie, she does barely fuck all. At the end of the movie, she does fuck all again, and then her entire purpose in the movie is basically just a reason for Newt to go to Paris.
Love interest.
Yeah, it's a love interest thing, which is, I feel like is such a thing I wouldn't expect coming from J.K. in this movie, to be honest.
Isn't it though? Ginny Weasley.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough. I got nothing else to say, but let's talk about Dan Fogler returning with Alison Sudol as Jacob Kowalski and Queenie Goldstein, Tina's sister, of course. Two characters who I thought were really, really good in the first movie.
Oh, really fun in the first film.
Really, really fun. And they start out really fun in this movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed their
hilarious hijinks.
Yeah, I enjoyed their hijinks. I enjoyed when they showed up at Newt's house, and I enjoyed how he's like, if he wants to marry you, we'll just take off the thing. And then he's doing these, he's chewing his food wrong or whatever. He's like, oh, darling, everything's fine. And then I enjoyed that whole, how she's just like, no, she wants to get married and whatever else. But he's the one he doesn't want to not do it because he doesn't not want to marry her. He's trying to do the right thing and keep her safe and be like, no, we can't do that because you'll get in trouble and all sorts of bad things could happen. So we probably shouldn't do that. So he's trying to do the right thing. And I was enjoying her character. I was enjoying it both up until the end, where I feel like her decision doesn't make any sense to me. Her entire reason for her, like the movie set up, what is her problem? She wants to be with Jacob. She wants to live in a world where she can marry Jacob, be safe, and have that choice and do it. Which I feel like this movie's full of a lot of analogies for real world stuff, and I feel like this is supposed to be some sort of, I don't know, analogy for gay rights or anything along those lines, I feel. Because as far as I'm concerned, this whole movie is just a bunch of analogies for stuff, but not done as well as the X-Men franchise, basically. it's the way I describe it. So, but then at the end of the movie, she fucks off from Jacob because reasons. If you think
because she's been manipulated, but she's a fucking telepath.
What a lie.
How the hell do you get manipulated when you hear people's thoughts? No?
You're right. You're fucking right. Figure that one out. So yeah, even more, her decision at the end of the movie doesn't make any fucking sense. Why would she leave Jacob, head off of Grindelwald at all, full stop, because she can read his mind. She knows he's an evil guy, obviously. She would know that he's full of fucking shit. Even if he was hiding his thoughts, she could read the thoughts of all of his goons, like henchmen or whatever he's got going on. So there's no excuse there. They're not all hiding it. That's fucking bullshit. And then also, she heads off with him to achieve what? What is she doing? What is she fucking doing? I don't understand. She thinks she can go off with him. What, she now wants to enslave Jacob?
Yeah.
She did at the start of the movie.
No, he's a slave.
Yeah. I guess that really is where we
make you do crazy things.
I guess that really is where we headed with this whole nonsense. So yeah. Really enjoyed those two. Dived off. Sorry?
Jacob was still good.
Jacob was good until the end. He was fine.
Well, he didn't do anything.
No, he didn't do anything wrong. I enjoyed his presence right up to then. The only thing I have to say about him is that, like another thing we're about to talk about when we talk about Credence, is that this movie did a whole bunch of just, stuff that happened in the first film? Nah, fuck it, didn't happen. That big 10-minute scene that we made very emotional and dramatic about him getting his mind wiped and he's doing the cupcake store and was it cupcakes or whatever it was, doing the fucking bakery store, and how we're gonna just emotional scene and the movie's gonna end with Goldie entering the fucking store and it's gonna be really lovely, but he doesn't know her, and that whole scene was written really well and it was emotional and the rain and all this sort of stuff, and then this movie straight away, nah, didn't happen.
No, it makes sense.
Does it?
The potion or the thing, whatever he was using at the end, got rid of bad memories. So he just remembers all the good stuff.
But
he gets all the good memories, but there's so many like him getting chased and stuff that he forgets. So it's just small bits and pieces. But then he sees her, and then it all makes sense.
I still feel like it was just rewritten, changed, just because people enjoyed him in the first movie.
Seeing it right before, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what they're gonna do. That. Like, I knew, obviously he's in the new film. And rewatching, I'm like, oh, that's how they're going to explain it. They've written themselves a loophole to have him in the new.
Okay. Well, another thing I didn't like that they rewrite is that Credence doesn't die. Because
it feels like Warner Brothers went, hey, we're not going to make that Flash movie yet, Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
So we'll put you in the next film, even though you totally got destroyed by a bunch of American wizards.
Yeah, they can't. This is the other thing. They're like, we see him blown the fuck up. And this movie, they don't even try and give you some fancy excuse. They literally just say, he survived.
Yeah.
Do you want to extrapolate on that? Or
unless you have to destroy the whole entire thing. Like every piece of him needs to be destroyed before he can die.
It was silly. I was watching this movie. I was having whiplash the amount of times that there was stuff that was rewritten and just changed last minute with barely any explaining for what caused it or anything. It's like, oh, no, yeah, Credence survived. Okay, why Credence survived? Couldn't think of a plot device for this movie. We decided that we're going to make him a Dumbledore, which we'll tackle in a hot second. But like, this is this is the thing. Also, I mean, he's fine. Like, Ezra Miller as that character is fine. If anything, I'd say him as that character is actually better in this movie than the first movie, where he was just kind of annoying to a degree. I really didn't like him much in the first movie. In this movie, yeah. In this movie, I do find his whole story, looking for his mother, like you can easily relate, or not relate, but you can understand, feel for him a bit more than the first film, where he's just working for a witch and wants to get wizarding powers, and by witch I mean a bitch, not a witch. But other character that gets tagged along with him though, let's talk about her for a second as well. So you get Nagini is in this movie explained, which is Voldemort's snake, of course, which we always just thought was a snake, and we always just assumed that Voldemort.
I'll be certain. I mean, he could have named the snake after her.
Come on now. In this movie, I didn't write the exact terminology down. I'm sorry, I probably should have.
We have to believe that this is a 70-year-old snake.
Yeah, we have to believe that. Yeah. We also have to believe McGonagall's like fuck it. But anyway, so Nagini is some curse. As I said, didn't write their name. Should have some curse that she could turn into a snake, and eventually she's just going to be stuck as a snake, and that's just a thing. And how did we feel about this plot, this introduction of history?
It felt like they needed Credence to be teamed up with somebody, and they decided, hey,
yep,
let's pull something from canon history.
Yeah,
and yeah.
All I'm gonna say is, anytime someone says shit about any Star Wars movie, like having too many connections, or like, why would we?
I was saving that for the Dumbledore talk. It feels like they watched the hate for The Last Jedi, and like everybody getting upset that Rey isn't connected to somebody. Like, if they want everybody to be connected to everybody, let's just put all our previous characters in this movie. Let's have connections everywhere.
Yeah,
make everybody happy.
I could not help when I left this just thinking, fuck, I cannot believe people have had problems with Star Wars or complained about that shit. And this movie is just like, yeah, everyone is connected to fucking everybody. It is crazy.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah, it's absolute nonsense. Let's talk about the one last main character really. So you got Zoe Kravitz as leader of Lestrange introduced in this movie. Well, she had a picture in the first movie and briefly mentioned, I guess. She was good. I thought she was fine, but once again, I don't feel like her demise at the end of the movie felt deserved isn't the right word, but like it didn't feel like that was time, or we had enough time with her for it to feel truly sad or anything along those lines. It just
no, because you introduced her at the start of the film, and then she's reintroduced with some mystical connection to Credence, like halfway through, out of nowhere. And then she just dies at the end.
Yeah.
The only reason you would care is because Newt cares about her.
Yeah. And I'm still just like, look, I'll also say that flashback scene, that was really good.
I'm bad.
Yes. I'm really bad. I fucking, yeah.
Don't like me, I'm bad.
That flashback scene I did enjoy though, with her running along and Newt and all that sort of stuff. That was really good. I enjoyed that. I kind of wish maybe that was the whole movie instead. Just flashback to when Newt and her were growing up as school kids. Sure, that would have been a better movie than this, I feel. Because you would have had a lot of Dumbledore too. So we would have got there. I was going to say, oh yeah, so her main plot point of this movie is this whole, which we can tie into the Dumbledore thing, of course. The main plot point of this movie is basically Credence trying to find his history, and then everyone else trying to find Credence because they all think he's this long lost pure blood child or whatever. And by the end, it is revealed, of course, that Grindelwald is after him because he is a blood relative of Dumbledore's, so Albus Dumbledore's brother, and the reason he would be after him is because he can send him to kill Dumbledore and be able to get past the blood pact and all these sorts of things. So he basically wants him as a warrior. That's what I took it as anyway. And then you've got this leader Lestrange thing on the side about she has a long lost brother, so then everyone's presuming that he's the brother of the Lestrange family and that's long lost, and they're a pure blood family and all these sorts of things. And eventually it comes to head when they build up all these plot elements. Instead of revealing them nicely, fluently through just general movie going, what you get instead is someone literally just telling you things for 5 to 10 minutes explaining, which is the worst way to always reveal any sort of plot, really, I feel.
There's no way they could have done it any other way, to be fair.
They had 5 fucking movies, Ash. But yeah, that scene where they're in they all meet up in the graveyard or whatever it is, like yeah, they're on there, and then the family tree, it's like all the girls are flowers. Once again, analogies, you know what I mean? Like there's just stuff, and it's all men on there and stuff like that. I can see constantly she's trying to put these story things here and whatever else, but none of them are done well. None of them are done well at all. They all just come off because it's so half-assed. I don't feel like you're going to get anything out of them. So it goes through the family tree, and then it's revealed that the thing we saw before, the baby, her big fear was a baby floating underwater because for some reason she gets charged with taking her brother to New York. At this point we're assuming it's Credence, and the fucking baby won't stop crying. So then, because as a normal human child does, she decides to swap it with the quiet baby across from the other episode end of the boat, and then the boat starts. And that basically becomes a Titanic, and then it starts sinking, and because of swap babies, and then her nanny or whatever. Hey.
Was the ship the Titanic? That would
have no, I just chucked it out there. and then the ship starts sinking, and Nanny comes out and she's holding the baby, and instead of being like, that's not our baby, she's just like, I'll say nothing because that's probably the better thing to do at this point. And then she watches as the other baby's taken by the other woman, and then that sinks, and so she watches her own brother die, and then that's why it becomes her biggest fear. But then it's found out that the baby she actually took, that is being played off to be Credence all these years, was the Dumbledore family baby, which makes Credence what was his first name? I didn't cut.
Aurelius?
Yeah, that sounds right. It was A something though, wasn't it? Yeah. So sure, we'll say that. Aurelius Dumbledore. So how do we feel about the fact that Credence has turned out to be a Dumbledore, and then also the fact that they're adding Dumbledore Dumbledore's brother in, I guess.
I don't know. Fuck. I was like, what is this bull? Why? It just, I don't know how they're going to explain. One, how the hell does Grindelwald know he's a Dumbledore? Two, why were they shipping him off to New York? And this is meant to be some powerful, magical wizarding family. How do you not notice that your baby gets switched in a boat? I don't know.
They kind of, looking back on it, they kind of try and say that they've teased it when they have that scene where Leader asks Dumbledore if he's ever lost a brother before, and he takes a couple seconds and he responds with, "I've lost a sister." So he kind of dodges the question. So looking back on it, it's like it appears that Dumbledore knows that he lost a brother, but
I don't know. But he did lose a sister.
Yeah, so his sister
between him and Grindelwald that got them off in the last, like, his sister died.
Yeah, his sister dies, and we're going to find out that whole story in presumably the third film.
Maybe.
Well, hopefully that's what happens. But then it's like then it becomes a question of, okay, so the lady on the boat who we're going to presume is a Dumbledore who was taking the baby, who's she? You know, like we'll have to find out who she is. So that means she's died. She died on the boat with the baby and all sorts. Look, it feels like such a half.
Definitely said brother, right? Your brother's trying to kill you. Is what the line was, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't write it off as like a different distant relative.
No. So, look, this, as I was just saying a second ago, this just feels like not a good connection tie-in type thing. It does just feel like that's when it happened. I wasn't even shocked or anything. I was just like looking at the screen when the Phoenix started rising and then he shoots that power outside or whatever, and I was just like, really? It wasn't even like, oh my god, that's so cool. They're connected like Credence and Dumbledore. It was just, really? What? That's what we're doing. That's what we're leading the big Credence reveal up to. That he doesn't even, after everything, he doesn't even find out who his mother is, really. He doesn't get to meet her or any of this sort of stuff. He just gets taken off by Grindelwald and we find out he's a Dumbledore, and now he's going to be trained to kill his own fucking brother somehow in the next movie, because I'm sure it's going to be the whole thing of, he abandoned you. You should kill him because he, like, look at Dumbledore, like, look at Albus over there. He fucking left you on the streets. Yeah, fuck it. Like, is this what we're going for? Is this,
Yep.
is this what I'm lining up for to watch? How about,
And I can see Credence going for that because he's like
easily manipulated? Yeah.
He's super easily manipulated.
Yeah. So
Going back to the guy who manipulated him in the first film. So
yeah, that's a good point. That is, he's just back around to the exact same freaking person again.
He change his face is the only.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even know then, I guess. He doesn't even know. Yep. He has no idea. Dun dun dun. Are we so the wrapping up show kind of question? Are we looking forward to the next film at all? Is there anything that can be done to redeem this franchise for you personally? Because I've seen a lot of positive buzz for this movie. Let's put it into perspective. I saw a lot of good reviews. I've seen Twitter buzz, a lot of people saying this is really good. They really enjoyed it. They didn't like the first film. They enjoyed this one so much more. Good for them. You know, more power to you. But for us personally, and you personally, what do you reckon has to be done in the next film to kind of fix this franchise for you? What has to,
they have to have a cohesive story.
And at this stage, I'd be like, well, good luck with that. You know, like how do you expect to achieve that?
Yeah,
it doesn't seem achievable. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to see like critical buzz and stuff before I'm willing to.
You're not rushing out after this one. You're not rushing out to watch it.
I probably will because it's content, but
yeah. It's so long away too. 2 years.
Yeah, it's
just doesn't even feel worth it.
I mean, there are cool cliffhangers, and then there's what cliffhangers, and that was a what?
My it's a big old. It ends, and it's just like, there's 3 more of these. Like, if this was the second or third, I might feel better. To be honest, I might be like, okay, at least it's wrapping up next movie. At least I know the finish lines is on the horizon, whatever. But I'm like, we're not even halfway. Like, we're like, there's still 3 of these fucking films left. How much more of these this can we go through? Really, what are we going to do? No, I am. This is the thing. Midnight release Harry Potter movies, midnight release Harry Potter books. You know, these are things I've done in my life. Would I go to a midnight release of the next one of these? Did I go to the midnight? They didn't even have a midnight release for this because I don't think even thought there was enough popularity for it, which kind of shows the time. And also, it's underperformed as fuck. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but ticketing wise, it's
62 million on the opening weekend. The first one made 74 million opening weekend.
So it's just people are losing interest.
You've got like twice as many characters.
Yeah,
and actors that you need to be paying,
and actors and stuff, and so I'm going to be really interested. I'm going to find it really hard to believe if come the next one of these that changes aren't being made. Surely,
it's got to be in production at the moment, doesn't it?
No, they'll start it like next year, I guess. I remember last time they started the next one. Like,
I guess they don't have the rush that they have with like the first ones, obviously.
It's not even a thing about, there's 2 years between movies. It's that my problem is I'm like, 2 years between movies I'm not looking forward to is the thing. It's just because I'm like, fuck, and I don't have to watch
How are they going to write themselves out of this? That's what I want to know.
It's just, there's so many questions and they're not good questions. They're not like, oh my God, I can't wait. That's exciting. Let's theorize about it for 2 years. That's going to be super fun to theorize about lots of stuff. I don't want to theorize about fucking Dumbledores and all this sort of stuff. Nothing in this movie grabbed me story-wise. I really, nothing at all. If I was to rewatch any of the movies of so far, I'll probably rewatch this once when it comes out, just for the sake of it, you know? Like, I'll rewatch it.
Make sure.
I'll put it out and be like, do I hate it as much? Do I like it a little bit more? What, like, Dumbledore's great, cool, that's great, I'll watch it. But if I had to pick between watching this one and the first one, I'd watch the fucking first one again because it had what was entitled. You know, it was Fantastic Beasts. The beasts looked really cool. They were really interesting. They were great. You kind of wanted a book. You actually wanted to read a book about them and stuff. And you had the Nifflers and whatever else going on. That was a lot of fun. It felt like a magical world. This just feels like a dreary, incoherent, not fun shit is what it is. That's my review. And look, the movie, as far as I'm concerned, is shit. It's not good. It's not very good at all. So
I would say it's not good. I wouldn't say it was shit.
Yeah. Oh dear. What? I know we usually don't. I don't think we usually go for chucking numbers on the end of these things. But if you had to chuck a number on it now,
probably a 4.
Yeah, I'd probably be around a 4 too, to be honest. If I had to pick around my head, like I'd jump on the 4 with you. That sounds good.
Based on our Explosion Network grading scale.
But it's still bad.
Yeah.
So it's bad. There's no shit on this scale.
Shit is like 2 or 3. 2 or 1 or 2.
Yeah, okay. So the film's bad. We both don't like it. It's bad. There you go. That's it. Any wrapping up thoughts?
No. Even the magical beast in this film, I wasn't really interested in too.
Yeah, no, that's it. Because
they're trying to push this magical lion thingy.
Yeah, wasn't that great? And it feels just chucked in.
Yeah,
for the sake of having at least one.
We need to have a big animal here.
Yeah, we need to have at least one animal, so it's actually fantastical.
So we can sell these replicas.
Yeah. So anyway. This has been an Explosion Network review discussion. Head on over to explosionnetwork.com. We can find the aforementioned What Do You Want to Watch podcast if you would like to check out our thoughts on other movies, which probably a bit more positive than our thoughts on this one, to be honest. I don't think I've got this disappointed with the movie in quite some time. It's probably one of the biggest disappointments of the year for me, I guess. I feel like it is one of the biggest disappointments for me. I don't get that hyped up on much. Yeah, this year. Definitely one of the biggest disappointments.
I'll have to reflect on it, yeah.
Yeah. So explosionnetwork.com, make sure you check out all the stuff there. Head on over to Twitter at ExplosionPod, where you can follow us. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivalodil, VIVALODIL. You can follow Ashley on Twitter at AshleyHobby, ASHLEYHOBLEY. That's the place to do all the things. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you like. If you're listening to this in audio version, just follow us on Twitter and stuff like that. It's really the best you got. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts, or just tweet a link out to this. Do your thing. Maybe go to the YouTube version, like it there. if you listen to it on the audio version. There you go. That's how you do it all. That's a great one.
Yep.
Enjoy your fantastical,
Fantastical
magical
wait. The next one.
meets. Yeah, sure. Hi,
It is
Dumbledore's
said
great. Bye.
that I hate les noms magiques. I do not hate them. I do not.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.